Absolutely. And that brings me to my next question is, sticking with Clarion leadership and the culture that she helped to facilitate at the San Damiano, the monastery there. I mean, it was very democratic in a lot of ways, correct? Where every
Yes.
voice is heard, no matter your social status. And this,
Right.
we keep coming back to it, but this primacy of relationship, that's what was most important. Like status goes out. Like, let me hear your voice. Talk about the culture she helped create there
Right.
and what makes it unique. Because would you say democratic is the right word?
I think we could say proto
Mm.
democratic, and we need to be careful because, of course, right now we live a very fraught version of that. But I would say she and Francis are part of a shift in consciousness in Europe, in Western Europe, about the difference between a hierarchical society where only the wealthy, the landed, the royal have prerogatives. And if you're at the bottom of that pyramid, you just hope to die in your bed and maybe get to purgatory. I mean, heaven was even considered a big stretch. So you you had very little agency and no political power. What is happening is that is coming into question. And it's coming into question. A variety of forces are making that happen. But one of the things is the rising importance of trade and finance and commerce. And as certain men and some women start to specialize as bankers, as money lenders, as people who run a business, whether that business is the making of fine silks or brewing or leatherworks or ironworks, those persons start to achieve a status that is not based on where they were born or their family name. It's based on they provide a service without which we can't reorganize in this area. We need all of these services. And so, and then they learn from the Benedictines. I mean, this idea that you bring everybody together, you listen to everybody, even the youngest is very rash. It's very new. But the Benedictines have this wisdom that you may not get the decision you want right away, but you stay at it until there's been enough discussion, enough thought, enough prayer that eventually, 99% of the time, you will get harmony. And so I think we're not always very good about acknowledging how much we took from our predecessors, the Benedictines, and brought it over into the Franciscan movement. But there's an enormous wisdom there. And, the way that the Benedictines have survived longer than we have.
Yeah, can you go deeper into that notion of listening to everybody as a core component of leadership or
Well,
Clarion leadership in this
um,
context?
I think in Claire's case and in Francis in the beginning, listening to everybody wasn't hard. Everybody was right there. You rang the bell, everybody showed up, you talked. In one sense, the call to give everybody a chance to be heard was also supported by size and architecture. What happens when now you have, let's say on the side of Francis, hundreds, thousands of men who have joined the Franciscan Brotherhood and never laid eyes on him? You have to start calling people together periodically with instructions. We will come together at Pentecost and we will meet down in Assisi and we will build little straw huts and we will gather there. So in Claire's case, it never changes. It's always just the women under the roof with her. Now, other monasteries are following her example, but they don't follow slavishly because they're different women in different places. So you have a diversity even with the early Clare monasteries. And with Francis, the diversity arises because distance, different cultures, the needs of the friars change. The ones who are up in Germany are coming back and saying, we can't get through another German winter unless we can have sandals and socks and, a warmer, a warmer blanket. So that the structuring to hear others. And I would say that, isn't it very interesting that just a few weeks ago, we were all just tied up in knots over will everyone who wants to vote, vote, and will their vote be counted? Unthinkable that we should even have a worry. Unthinkable that we should have a worry. But when that trust starts to erode, we really better set up. And let's take Claire and Francis as good models that you never give up on providing the space for that voice. It's critical.